And 6-0 overall in his career as a starter at AT&T Stadium. 5 wins in high school, and then that Big 12 championship with Oklahoma in 2018. Michael, who do you have?
Well, listen, I'm like Rich. I like what you just did, you know, and I think I want to take the Arizona Cardinals, but I want to put a condition on if Andy Dalton throws for 6 touchdowns, I want to take the Cowboys.
No, that's not the provisional that's necessary.
Okay,
so you're taking the Cardinals?
I'm going to take the Cardinals, but if Andy throws for 5 touchdowns, I'll take the Cowboys.
No, I can't do that.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well, although I'm kind of thinking here that Dallas, I think, has a chance in this game to win this. I'm going to go with the Cardinals on this one, but I think it's going to be a close game.
So you say there's a chance. Andy Dalton, you know, is not chopped liver. And I'm going to take the Cowboys, Irv. I don't know where your doubting Thomas comes from, but I've taken the Cowboys because they have a good football team. Now the defense is going to have to play a little better.
D-Hop back in Dallas. Kyler Murray is just going to be a big problem.
Cowboys.
This defense has not been able to stop a cold. I know that they have Leighton Vander Esch is expected to be back, but put that lid on, Steve.
Oh, geez, okay. All right, I do this every week. I haven't got one right yet.
I'm going to get one of those. Cowboys.
I got one coming.
In our 4th and final hour,
here.
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady both being sent to Warner's corner. I feel like this is going to work out better for Rodgers than for Brady, quite frankly. Find out next on NFL Game Day Morning, final hour, taking just 9 early window kickoffs presented by...
It does sound like you don't not want to get sent to...
5G experience for America. This is 5G built right.
So it appears, yep, they're even checking the helmets here. Make sure it's all ready that the Broncos and Patriots are finally going to play this game. Broncos haven't played since October 1st. And Mike Giardi, as we know, there's been a lot going on for the Patriots the last couple of weeks, too.
Rich, master class being taught by both head coaches here on how to handle the uncertainty of this season. Let's start with Bill Belichick, who Chase Winovich, the Patriots' rising star, says is a great general, a leader amongst men, and someone when there is conflict, he finds resolution. Rex Burkhead said he's not just concerned with our safety, but the safety of our families as well. Meanwhile, Vic Fangio said in a weird way, he's happy all of this happened because it separates the guys that are willing to work through it from the complainers and the whiners. And he said, we're actually getting pretty good at dealing with this right now. It has been 17 days since they played a game. Second longest absence, a layoff in team history. Rich?
Yeah, the only other longer absence was when 9/11 canceled some games, as we all know. The Patriots' last game was on October 5th when they traveled to Kansas City the day of the game because Cam Newton had tested positive a couple days before the game, and then Stephon Gilmore tested positive 2 days after the game, leading to the postponement of Week 5's contest for the Broncos to Week 6. Cam is now off the list, so is Stephon Gilmore. A handful of players have gone on the list in just the last couple of days for New England. What's Belichick's, I guess, if you will, challenge has been on this whole front, Steve?
You know, this team has 5 schedule changes. If you have their press guide from the beginning of the season, throw it out because everything's changed, right? And now they had their bye week early. Last week, and you got to know that when this guy has 2 weeks to prepare for you, whether it's a Super Bowl or a bye, he's as good as they get. He's got 17 wins. He's only second to Andy Reid after a lengthy preparation. And when this guy has time on his hands, look out. Now, the Broncos you mentioned, they had a bye too, right? And they've got a lot of time. But that's a younger team. That's a younger team, and they're still trying to figure out Drew Lock's going to play, and we're going to see what happens, and they have some injuries. So this guy right here is dangerous with Josh McDaniels because that guy's coming back. And you know what? They're going to be very creative. And I can't wait to watch this guy with all the options, zone reads, RPOs, and all that kind of thing. They're going to have a field day with this guy today.
Thank you for finishing on your mark.
I'm not allowed to go this way.
A reunion today in Nashville as Titans coach Mike Vrabel and former coach and mentor interim Texans head coach Romeo Crennel are out there. As we all know, Patriots defensive coordinator at the time was Crennel when Vrabel was in New England playing defense and catching passes from Brady in Super Bowls and such. And then he was with Vrabel with the Chiefs as well. He then coached under Crennel on the Texan staff from 2014 to 2017. I'm only saying what the whole crew is thinking, Steve. Take it away, James Palmer.
Well, thanks, Rich. I talked to Texans tight end Darren Fells this week, who told me that they have been very tense as a group of players these last couple of weeks with everything they're going through with the firing of Bill O'Brien. But he said a weight was lifted off their shoulders last week with their win against the Jaguars, and he said they're a little bit more relaxed. They were told to go out and have some fun. Well, it's tough to have fun when you're trying to stop Derrick Henry, who defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver said is like Jadeveon Clowney in the backfield running the football against you. You'd like to be healthy against him, and they're not. Bernardic McKinney, their star middle linebacker, is now on IR. He makes all the calls for this defense. He's the leader in communication. Now it's Zach Cunningham who is making the calls for them, who Mike Vrabel said is one of the best middle linebackers in football. They're giving up 160 yards a game on the ground right now. Now let's go to Stacey Dales in Charlotte.
Well, James, for the Bears, year 2 in defensive coordinator Chuck Pagano's scheme, and things are going pretty well. The 9th total defense in the NFL, but Pagano telling us this week they're really comfortable with the play calls, especially in the red zone. To that point, #1 red zone defense in the league, #2 defense on third down. Linebacker Danny Trevathan, now in his 9th season in the league. He told us this week, bend, don't break. You are not in until you're in. He said this is probably the best team that I've been a part of in terms of communication. They, of course, will face the 27th ranked red zone offense in the Carolina Panthers. Head coach Matt Rule, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, saying clearly those are major points of emphasis. Got to be able to run the football in the red area. For more on this game, Kurt, take it away.
Well, thanks a lot, Stacey. And, you know, we talk about this Bears defense playing well, but this Carolina Panther offense is playing well, too. I know you got your own podcast. Yes. I got my own stat, game-changing plays. This Carolina offense, listen to this, Irv. This Carolina offense is up 7 game-changing plays a game without Christian McCaffrey. So I ask you, can they continue that success today against this Bears defense?
And I say, yes, they can. And you mentioned it. It's pretty amazing that they're doing it without their best player, Christian McCaffrey, who's one of the best players in the National Football League. But they are able to run this football, and this dude, Mike Davis, is running that football hard. I'm talking about they average 108 yards rushing per game with Christian McCaffrey, almost 125 with Mike Davis. And please believe me, people in Chicago, they know him well. Chicago got such a great pressure front 4 defense, but when you meet that pressure with physicality like Mike Davis brings, it makes them think. That's why I think he will be the difference in keeping this team.
I don't know, he's running hard. But the Bears' defense is hard to run on.
They are hard to run on.
With Khalil Mack. And I'm going to give the advantage to this Bears defense because this Bears defense, they attack. We know what Khalil Mack can do. But here's what I love on the back end. Teddy Bridgewater against this secondary that plays with their eyes. They play downhill, and they attack everything. You saw the fits that they gave Tom Brady last week. Watch this one by Fuller here, playing the corner. And watch how he keeps his eyes back in the backfield. He always wants to see what the quarterback's doing. He's covering his guy, but he's reading the quarterback. This is a huge play in the game. He comes off on this check down. It creates that fumble, which ultimately leads to a win. Now even they've got their defensive ends. They've got a little zone dog right here. Look at Khalil Mack playing with his eyes, reading the eyes of Tom Brady while he's playing in coverage. He's going to take away the first one. Then Eddie Jackson going to read the eyes. He's going to take away the second one. They make everything hard from a secondary standpoint because they're always watching. They're able to play their coverage, but see through to the quarterback and be able to break on those big plays. So a team that plays defense downhill from the secondary is really, really hard to play against, Rich.
Very well done, gents. Very, very well done. And, oh, boy, let's check this one out. Once it's become a graphic, it's an official stat.
It is official.
Michael cannot wait to see a recap of the hashtag. We're hashtagging. It's now viral.
I love
GCP.
Love it.
There you go. There it is.
Cynthia, tell him it's a real thing.
It's real.
It's real.
And judging by Michael's avatars, it looks like it's international as well. Looks like it's international. Fantastic. Cynthia Freeland rejoining us for Pick 6. Let's get some 6 prognostications and projections from you, starting with Titans-Texans. What do you have?
A 6-point win in this one. Titans 28, Texans 22. I want to point out Derrick Henry, who projects to rush for over 100 yards, 2 receptions, 26 receiving yards, and a touchdown in this one. That makes him running back 2 for fantasy purposes.
Okay, that's number 1. Now 2 as the Steelers and Browns face each other.
Okay, a 4-point win for the Steelers in this one. 26 27-23. I know you love the Browns. I'm not picking against you. The model doesn't have anything against it. But Chase Claypool in this one, I want to point out, 4 receptions, 54 yards. There's no Deontay Johnson, so that touchdown could happen. But just remember, Mike Tomlin is famous for knowing how to get all of his receivers involved. So maybe even a tight end in this one.
All right, the highly anticipated and highly waited upon Patriots and Broncos goes New England's way, according to you.
Yeah, pretty big win in this one, 29-19. Cam Newton being back makes a huge difference. 246 passing yards, a touchdown in the air, a touchdown on the ground, 20 rush yards. It's all about that outside zone rushing in this matchup. The ability for Cam Newton to just keep that defense off balance is the key in this one.
Back half of your Pick Six, all nationally televised games, starting with tonight's game on the NBC.
Yeah, Rams by 5 in this matchup. I want to point out Cooper Kupp, 6 receptions, 59 yards, and the touchdown for Kupp. The interesting thing is you could take Jared Goff in this matchup if you need a fantasy quarterback. I think if I look to see where the projections are, he's going to exceed many kind of what people think.
Monday double dip, the triple cast, Fox right here on NFL Network and Amazon Prime, the Bills and the Chiefs. You have?
I have it going the Chiefs' way, but only by 2 points, 27-25 in this matchup. Patrick Mahomes kind of gets back on track after a sort of weird game last week. 294 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and 24 rush yards.
And then Monday Night Football on ESPN. You've got the Cardinals taking down the Cowboys.
I know. It's kind of a crazy one here. 29-26 in this matchup. Why? It's because of Kyler Murray against this defense. This is nothing against Andy Dalton. This is all about 256 pass yards for Murray. This is an opportunity for him. 2 touchdowns, 41 rush yards. It's really the defense is a bigger problem for me than the Cowboys offense.
Kyler Murray returning to the state of Texas, where he did not lose a game in high school, and you're saying he's not going to lose a game as a professional player either. Cynthia Freeland will rejoin us.